Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Estrogen levels peaking. It's like she's in heat.
When are you gonna grow up, man? Chicks love cars. If you want to get into their pants, you better have a nice, hot Ferrari.
She's my hot Ferrari. Besides, I love my Mustang, which is a plug-in hybrid. It gets 100 mpg.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Oh, my eyes!
Welcome to Schlock Talk, episode 30. Answering Cinema's question of, where do I put this thing, by quietly pointing at our smiling open mouths. I'm your host and narrator, Joel.
Narrator?
I'm your illustrator, Paul.
I'm the producer, Craig.
I'm the hype man.
He doesn't even know his own name.
Hey, can I change my name to... Can I be the key grip?
Grip my key. It will unlock the magical doorway to your anus.
Oh, I'm Gabe. Yeah, so...
Hype man Gabe.
Hype man Gabe. I'm going to do my best to not be an insulting black stereotype. Hey, what
That's
time is it, Gabe? Let
important
me look
job.
at that clock you're wearing.
That's the most important job on this crew, Gabe.
Gotta let everybody know what time it is. Oh, boy. I already failed.
Okay.
Oh, that was in honor of Black History Month, by the way.
It is February.
In honor.
It is.
Black historians will not take this as a point of pride for some reason.
All right. You know, there's a lot of things we here at Schlock like to fantasize about. I'm no doubt sure our single-digit...
Cloning Shakira.
There we go. Yeah. While I'm no
The
doubt
fact
sure...
that she's now Gabe just really disturbs me.
Yeah. You might want to study next time before you try cloning.
Yeah,
Wait, she's gay?
I don't know if that DNA came out the right way.
Hey, listen, my hips don't lie.
While I'm no doubt sure our single-digit audience would like us to leave it at that and be done with it, I must remind you all that censorship is part of our paid content package. So here it comes. Paul's fantasies involve him envisioning the unexpected yet instantaneous rebirth of the Soviet Union, while incidentally the rest of his family, including his pets, just happen to be there when it happens and are now indefinite prisoners of the state. Gabe,
get out of my dreams.
Way to go, comrade.
Gabe, on the other hand, when not sitting around commenting on cinematic afterbirths like an asshole, imagines he's doing the exact same thing I mentioned, but on NPR. I guess some dreamers are a little more pragmatic. And let's not forget Craig. Where does he go when we look into his rolling eyes? Why, there he is, sleeping like a baby on a mountain of strangled prostitutes. So many prostitutes.
You need a lot of them to hold me up.
Then there's me. I won't riddle you this and riddle you that, my fellow audience. By now you've already deduced that I have what experts would call stunted development. While my comrades prance around committing all kinds of heinous acts in their heads, my dreams are a little bit more far-fetched. Simply put, robots. Not the kinds your girlfriend keeps in her drawer. To be a little bit more specific, giant fucking robots. Once again, not the kind your girlfriend keeps in her drawer.
I know, it's pretty giant.
Are you talking about Craig's drawer?
You know, construction workers actually tried to use it to break pavement. It succeeded.
It's called the decimator, right?
Yes.
Or is that Caligula's fist? Did you let him borrow it?
Caligula's.
Do you need a Do you need a spotter when you're doing that?
That's awesome.
Giant fucking robots. I'm talking...
Sorry, Joel.
Giant fucking robots. I'm talking Optimus Prime versus Megatron Part 2, aptly subtitled Collateral Damage. And in my mind, these two robots duke it out for a whole freaking day.
Wait. So you have dreams of shitty Michael Bay movies?
Oh, we'll touch on that.
Jesus Christ.
We'll touch on that. And in my mind, these two robots duke it out for a whole day. Class is fucking canceled today because the universe just gained consciousness and decided to celebrate Christmas, and it wants to make up for all the missed birthdays. I'm talking a straight 12-hour fight, millions of innocents killed, the White House scrambles the jets, and me screaming because I don't know just how big this erection is going to get.
I'm starting to think we should have let him finish his notes.
Naturally, the fight would conclude at a nuclear power plant during the dusk hours, when the victor ultimately tossing the loser into a vat of molten uranium, who in return tosses a thumbs up while succumbing to their badass melty fate. Can you see it now, audience? That's right. The fucking toilet baby Michael Bay directed Transformers movies ain't got shit on this fight and never will, since technically it's just been copyrighted as of this post. But where do these dreams come from? Just like the seed that conceived us all, we have to ask the question, who planted it there? Craig, put your hand down. It's not a philosophical question.
Oh, I thought it was a realistic question.
Well, both I and Guillermo del Toro, the director of the acclaimed Pacific Rim, will both tell you, that is, if Guillermo del Toro will answer my Facebook inquisition and honestly and confess, that our first Robo-Duelist movie experience started with a little gem called Robot Jox. And I use gem to the most liberal of definitions.
It's like turquoise. It's kind of a gemstone, but
It's
not
kind of
Like it's like a blood diamond, but without the diamond.
and all of the dirty history. So for you guys who give a shit about the blah 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 movies, like the director and the guy who sets the craft services table every morning, you'll be happy to know that the director of this stop motion dystopian masterpiece is none other than Stuart Gordon. Stewie directed hits like the 1990 version of The Pit and the Pendulum, a story about some guy who digs cutting himself in interesting and elaborate ways, or the more well-known Reanimator, a film adaptation of an H.P. Lovecraft novel.
You haven't seen that yet.
Whether both movies were well received, I
Just
don't
wants to
know.
seem educated.
So I'll refer to the AARP card-carrying members of Schlock for the details, because I'm home.
Hey, just because I saw that movie in the theater doesn't mean that I'm almost. Wait. No.
the pendulum's right. All those dead prostitutes.
I'll refer to our more
You said it,
Sherry Senior Citizens menu.
Hey,
Entitled
you
Members
won't be
of
laughing
Schlock
when we
Talk.
go to Denny's and I get the discount.
I'm just saying, steak for $6.50. It's not fucking fair, okay?
heavy bitches. But at least you still have the teeth to chew it with.
But I'll refer to the librarians of Schlock Talk because I'm homeschooled and not make good research. So tell me about this Reanimator film, guys.
It's probably my favorite movie ever.
I want to see it.
It's got your name
Jesus
written
Christ,
all over it, Joel.
If it's Gabe's favorite movie ever, I just want you to think about that. You want to see Gabe's favorite movie ever. Jesus
it's pretty
Christ,
great.
son. Jesus Christ.
Has Barbara Crampton naked.
Oh, okay. That's a plus.
I don't know who that is.
It's got a sex scene that you've never seen anything quite like before.
I've seen like part of the movie.
It's
Paul
super
subjected
gory.
it to me.
And it has Jeffrey Combs, the greatest actor of ours or any other generation,
All right, I'm sold.
who's also in Robot Jox, by the way.
Oh,
And what
it
did he
was.
play?
He was one of the two goofballs that are
really?
yelling at
Okay.
the Robot Jocks.
Oh, he was one of them.
Yes.
The guy that buys the
50 shares.
yeah.
And wears that really stylish hat.
He was the more vocal and slightly less stupid one, kind of like the butthead of the two.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, to be butthead to your
So he
base.
was kind of like you and me.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a which one's the butthead?
Let's go watch giant robots fight. Yeah, maybe we'll get laid. To be honest, from looking at this dude's resume, I think horror is his shtick, so I'm kind of caught off guard as why he did this movie. Maybe it was a gift to his grandson or something, which would explain why he just said fuck it to any kind of decent story. The movie's three main actors include Gary Graham, who at the present seems to reside in TV hell, Anne-Marie Johnson, just 3 doors down the street from Gary Graham at the That's So Raven residence, and Paul Koslow. I'm not going to talk shit about this guy. His performance is ridiculous in this movie, but he just comes off so menacingly badass that I wish I was a soldier and he was general. Seriously.
Like a voice modulation problem? Because he couldn't talk in a regular voice. Everything he said had to have some kind of half scream going on for no particular reason I could understand. Just saying.
What's up, beaches?
Something like that.
Like, seriously, if communism was a religion, I would confess this man as my Lord and Savior.
He was like a futuristic proto-Borat.
I thought he was supposed to represent what would happen if communist Russia fucked Nazi Germany and they had a child, and he was supposed to be that kind of representation.
The chosen one.
I wish I could say that was his joke, but I think that's entirely what they meant to have.
I think you might be right about
that. It's like Chekhov and Khan had
so, like, so what Craig is basically saying is that he's the prophesized one, huh?
Just that he's supposed to be an evil motherfucker who... I don't know. We'll get to it.
Yeah, we will.
Move on.
All right, well, now that I've gotten this cast and crew handshake out of the way, it's time to drop trow and penetrate the inner world of Robot Jox.
Wait, weren't the trows already dropped?
I have been wearing pants all podcast.
So is the girl, what's her name, Athena?
Athena.
Oh, she's Kid from Kid and Play, right?
Yeah. Was she on That's So Raven?
She was on a lot of episodes of That's So Raven, yeah.
She wasn't like the mom or anything?
I don't really know. I just saw what kind of shit she stuck her shit in, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's the mom on That's So Raven?
Oh, no, I don't know if she was.
Yeah, because I don't watch the show, so whatever fucking generic character they put out there.
Oh, I know who she was. She was like the designer that Raven works for. Yeah.
I just lost so much respect for you.
No,
I didn't have a lot to begin with, but Jesus, man. That's So Raven.
Hey, I have kids.
And they watch that.
It's
No,
funny.
they don't. I do.
That's just a smoke screen you just wanted to throw
I would
out
probably
there.
Dude, hey, Disney Channel's always on. The jar of Vaseline's always got the lid off.
And Grace is always screaming at the top of her lungs.
I was going to say, and Paul's watching
That girl is scary when she
The
climaxes.
Sweet Life.
I think Paul composes poetry about this stuff, and he goes a little something like this. I look down the blouse of Minnie Mouse.
What's that in my pants? Is it a house?
Okay. Joel has 35 pages of notes, so we better get going.
It's about a third of that. Okay, so now that we've gotten this handshake out of the way, it's time to drop trow and penetrate the inner world of Robot Jox. Proper protection is also offered at no additional charge for our premium subscribers. The rest of you should probably visit a witch doctor or something when we're done here. All right, and now with the synopsis. Robot Jox opens up on what appears to be a snowy Warhammer 40k miniature landscape that was probably made in your dad's basement. The sexy narrator paints a grim portrayal of an alternate future which branches from the Cold War. Apparently, in the Robot Jox universe, the superpowers of the 80s decided that hovering the tips of their fingers right above the red button wasn't going to give them the sweet release that they craved, and that hitting that shit and never looking back was way more metal. We learned that war is outlawed, probably because someone broke Mom's heirloom lamp.
And I got to bring up this point too. How the fuck do you outlaw war? Do you like see about 10,000 people armed with guns and heavy weaponry, and then you just send like a police car over to them and go, "You motherfuckers are under arrest
We're
for
issuing a
starting
citation."
war"?
What higher authority enforces those rules?
Get a war ticket.
Yes, who stops the wars from happening?
Yeah, and if you're committing war, how do you stop the people who are committing war from continuing to commit war if you can't commit war against them to make them stop?
Yeah.
It becomes very, very circular illogic is how that becomes. I just found that whole phrase it's like a brain worm that gave me cancer. It just creeps in there. Yes, war is now illegal.
What we really meant to mean is war is on an honor system basis.
Yes, it's the Boy Scouts of America have been militarized against the Hitler Youth.
But, like, what do you do if you see that? You just be like, hey, you're going to war, aren't you? I'm calling your mom. No! We'll go home. We're sorry. As we sweep across the... Oh, sorry, let's go back a little bit. Probably because someone broke Mom's heirloom lamp. And that's all... And that all territorial disputes for resources are settled via a one-on-one duel between said nation's champion robot pilots. As we sweep across more wintry landscape, we get more than an eyeful of all the robo-wreckage, or robeckage. That's the only one you get, Gabe. Now shut up and you might learn something.
I didn't even say it!
It's the closest thing to a Gabe joke that was allowed.
And so, they only show 2 robots in this movie. There's only 2 robots in the movie, correct?
Was there? I thought there was 3.
Well,
because it seems like the bad guy went from one robot to a different robot.
Yeah, he had a more mech warrior looking robot in the beginning.
And then there was the one that he smashed in the beginning.
Yeah, that was also one. It probably wasn't the same one.
I guess I should clarify, 2 nations robots.
Yeah, it was really, yeah.
There's only 2 superpowers.
You've got the Coalition, which is basically the former United States.
I thought they were the Market. They called them the Market later on.
They called them the Market later on?
Yeah.
Okay, but then there's the Confederacy, and these are the bad guys.
Those are the...
Because Russians are evil.
The Southerners?
Yes.
We will take back this nation for liberty and Lee. I don't know. General Lee.
Now, I'm not a detective or anything, but observations I made of the setting... I'm not a detective or anything, but observations I made of the cool kids back in high school would lead me to believe that this setting is the place for robot-on-robot violence and quite possibly sex, which would explain the snow.
Wait, this isn't set in Japan.
No.
Japanese should have laid waste to them all.
Although later on in the movie, he spends several minutes with a Japanese flag taped to his forehead for some reason.
Yes, we did.
Yes, that is a bloody
We
bandage.
coincidentally made the same joke. This is getting
Oh,
scary.
shit. I watched this separately from everyone else. I just want to say that.
We don't like to have Gabe around any more than
It's funny. I wrote these notes, and all I could hear was Gabe's voice in my head.
I know, I smell funny. You guys don't need to make fun of me.
Touch my asshole, Joel. Touch my asshole.
Butthole. Butthole is funnier than asshole.
Okay, I'm sorry. If we were touching your asshole, they could touch you anywhere.
Exactly.
Show me on the asshole where he touched you.
There's really only one spot, you know? The bullseye?
We need to plumb the depth of how far it went in.
We're 48 minutes into the podcast and a minute and a half into the movie.
Very true.
Okay.
We freeze on a downed robot laying prostrate on the ground and watch as a pilot jimmies the canopy free and emerges from the cockpit. He ditches...
Prostate right after the asshole.
Or it's prostrate. It's okay.
He ditches the helmet right as a larger-than-life, clunky robot leg strikes the ground. The defeated pilot dons a white jumpsuit, instantly pegging him as a good guy because we're all fucking kids and only understand colors. The pilot mutters something along the lines, "No, Alexander, you win!" And we get a first-person view from the pilot as the camera zooms up towards the offending robot right in the middle of what would seem to be his fisting fatality move. See, Gabe, I was right about the sex thing. Alexander, the enemy pilot, beseeches the officials to render judgment on the fight's outcome with what is definitely, without a doubt, that going to fist you look in his eyes.
So how much did they pay you to rent your Caligula's fist for the movie?
Well, actually, I got it from them after market.
You bought it off of eBay.
Now I gotta Google Caligula's fist now. Go ahead, Joel.
The refs declare victory for Alexander's faction. He celebrates this. The refs declare victory for Alexander's faction, and he celebrates this achievement by stomping the other bitch pilot's 3 kinds of dead with his robot's cankly foot. He retracts his right-handed robo-club back into the protective folds of its foreskin, raises both arms, and screams, "You're the next Achilles!" Cut back to White HQ, where Achilles stands silently in front of the monitor, assessing the battle's outcome. Judging from the tight-lipped, emotionless stare on his face, I like to imagine that he's having flashbacks of that awful money shot incident that rendered the scars painting his face. He's brought back to reality by a man I could only describe as the ultimate Texas stereotype. Tall, portly, and donning a 20-gallon black Stetson that clearly delivers a middle finger to the white team dress code. The only thing missing to complete the package would be some random muttering about how that boy ain't right. As a matter
as soon as he came onto the screen, Craig's like, "Tell me his name isn't Tex."
As a matter of fact, his name is Tex.
Pretty much.
Because we're all kids, remember?
Sorry,
sorry.
I don't mean to interrupt, but when you Google Caligula's fist, about 20 pictures down, if you go to images, is a picture of the German VHS cover of Gestapo's Last Orgy.
One of our favorites here at Schlock.
One of the best movies ever made.
Classic.
Disturbing film.
That's going on the top shelf of the Schlock library. So, Tex Monday morning quarterbacks. Monday night would be more fitting, don't you think? The fight explaining that Achilles should have fought Alexander, even with the robot's bum knee, because robots have chronic health problems too, you know. Dr. Matsumoto interjects, saying that the knee isn't what cost him the fight, but that Alexander countered the secret weapon attack they had planned. Commissioner Jameson...
What was it? An oil slick...
He called tar spray.
Tar spray.
Yeah.
So they were going to pave him.
Using tar in a snow-covered field.
Was that going to... what would it cover the cockpit, do you think, maybe?
I'm
no approaching idea. This a little too logically, but I'm kind of just like, what is that used for?
I may have already checked out at this point of the movie because I don't remember tar spray at all.
Yeah, well, it was right at the beginning, and it was kind of dumb.
Yeah,
it's not a good sign that I checked out. No, I actually like this movie.
Yeah, I like it too. So Commissioner Jameson, the old guy in the suit, and through the wonder of child logic, probably the guy who signs the white team's checks, asked if it was merely coincidence. But it is denied when Matsumoto declares that this is an act of espionage.
Yeah,
the plot thickens.
He also wears the crown jewel from the British Empire on his necktie. I don't know why, but there's this big purple ass gemstone
with wings and
chest.
A tail, and yeah.
And when I said I liked this movie, Craig gave me a condescending head nod with that look like, I'm
That's
sorry
right.
your grandma died.
That sounds about right.
Oh, I'm just sorry your brain got infected by cancer enough for you to enjoy this.
Which movie?
This one. I like this movie.
I liked it too.
I tolerated this movie. I don't think it's a horrible movie for the type of movies we watch. Proviso right there for the type of movies we watch.
Yeah.
This one's okay.
It's very tame.
It's no Evil Clutch.
Thank God.
But it's also not Boxer's Omen.
No, it's not Boxer's Omen. It's not Never Too Young to Die or anything like that. It's kind of a nice, tame, palate cleanser kind of movie, overall.
Okay. That's why we're going to be doing Killing Spree next.
Sounds fair to me.
Is that like eating the whole wasabi after the ginger?
No, it's like snorting it up your nose.
Yeah. Maybe taking it up the ass, possibly, so you get the full effect.
Has anybody tried rectal wasabi? How does that really work? I haven't given that one a shot. But next time I go out for sushi, I'm going to take home some chopsticks and a little bit of wasabi. I'll let you know.
Well,
that is like a great visual.
Speak for yourself.
Just imagine Greg's fist holding a chopstick with a dollop of green goo at the end, and he's like, reaching around.
That's after the removal.
Well, Tex proceeds to lose his shit and openly condemns Jameson's past decision to send 9 other pilots to their stompy graves in previous fights that Achilles was absent from the roster on. Jameson explains that Achilles is the best guy in the lineup and that they're saving him for the Alaskan face-off. Tex continues to argue his point while gracing us with quaint racist remarks against the Eskimos who inhabit said territory. Being the asshole that I am, I would think that the opening fight, being the asshole that I am, I would think that the opening fight we all just watched was in Alaska. But maybe nuclear war caused climate shift, and perhaps it's possible the first battle took place in Mexico.
Did you know that Eskimos have 43 different words for snow and 67 different words for butthole?
Wow. That's
so,
love.
Since I'm not doing the notes this time, Joel's turned into Gabe, and Gabe has turned into Paul. That was I just did a Paul joke. Oh, okay.
Feel free to take a shower.
It won't.
It won't help. Sorry, Joel.
Yep. Jameson defends his point, saying that the coalition, white team, cannot afford...
Sorry, Joel. That was funny.
Cannot afford to give up 1 square inch of American soil. Oh, come on, Commissioner, please. Just a little soil? Tex reminds Jameson that all the rest of the pilots are dead. The monitors broadcast a mini memorial for the late curb-stomped pilot, and Achilles stares once again with those sexy crooked eyes into the screen and mutters, "It was him and me. Now it's just me." $5 says he was walking down money shot memory lane again.
Probably. He seemed lonely.
Cut to the next scene where Achilles is all dolled up in karate gear, complete with standard military-issue unitard, and at Tex Conway's crude oil karate dojo. I made that one up, guys. Achilles goes all Bruce Lee on...
Joel, Craig is just finding today's episode amusing. He's not angry, just amusing. Because they're only in actual space for like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when we get to that portion, why the fuck did they go into space? Oh well, anyway.
So Achilles goes all Bruce Lee on 4 dudes as they attack him one at a time, while Tex cheers on with 2 very large towels draped over his right sweaty shoulder, presumably to wipe the sweat off his face from watching all the sexy fighting. Achilles finishes his fight by mopping up the floor with wannabe pilot and little bitch scrapper Sargon. Achilles claims victory and congratulates the class on good training, handing out thumbs up fist pumps and chanting the mantra "crash and burn" on every tap.
These are the Tubi guys, right? They're the
these are
he's
the
fighting the
Tubies.
test tube babies who were.
We can identify them because they still have like sperm tails wrapped on the back of their heads.
Yes, all of them are very ethnic for some reason.
They're all super ethnic. 2 of them are twins.
And
2
guys
of them
are twins.
And they all
Two of
came.
them?
They all came
Not
from the
3
Texas
of them,
guy's
or possibly
sperm,
4
right?
of them are twins.
Well, 4 of them could be twin, 2 separate. Fuck you, Craig. And and then too, I think about him having images of who was the other guy that got killed at the beginning? What's that guy's name?
Oh, I can't remember. It was like Tim or something like that.
Yeah, we'll find out later on that he is in fact attracted to very masculine people.
I can't help but wonder how really shittily choreographed karate training somehow makes for a better piloting, but I'm not a Robot Jox. Well, as fate would have...
Once again,
Robot
this is another Guillermo del Toro ripoff.
This is a scene that is just ripped out straight from Robot Jox and implanted into Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim. With the whole, hey, why are they fighting with sticks? I thought they were pilots. Well, as fate would have it, shit just
This
got...
is really homoerotic. It was planted into Guillermo del Toro's Pacific Rim.
They're like,
because Guillermo del Toro and...
It all goes back to the
it was
butthole.
shoved in there.
Because Guillermo del Toro and the studio can't conceive. Well, as fate would have it, shit just got real for Sargon as he ass punches Achilles while he's not looking. Achilles hand-delivers Sargon's ass to him and collects the late postage, too, and reminds him that this is all just training. Achilles and Tex converse about the quality of the students and take notice of the much smaller male cadet with the breasts. Achilles
didn't have breasts. Come on.
Did you mean the much smaller breasts? Tex had bigger breasts.
Achilles...
And we're not kidding on that one either. I think he literally had bigger breasts.
Achilles observes as the pilot recruits safety glove punches the rest of the class, and Tex makes a remark about how the class will never be jocks. Achilles decides to test that candidate's reflexes by throwing Tex's sweaty towel at her, and to his surprise, she catches it while simultaneously resisting the odor's power to induce vomiting. The two have a brief stare down, and Tex flexes his chauvinistic muscles with sexist remarks.
Oh, there, little lady.
Damn titties.
Where are them titties? I don't see them anywhere.
Oh, the mosquitoes are out today.
Commissioner Jameson, accompanied by...
Mosquito bites, guys.
I know.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm following you, brother.
Thanks, Paul. Mosquito
Crash
bites,
and
you
burn.
see.
Crash and
Mosquito
burn, Paul.
bites. Can we talk about crashing? What the fuck? Everybody go die now. That could be, that's our war cry. We're gonna die.
It's like break a leg.
Break a leg.
The theater crowd.
They do say later in the movie that saying good luck is bad luck.
Get prison raped.
All right.
That's our handshake.
Shank and gank. Yeah.
Except we do it with a thumbs down. Or the thumb is inserted in something.
Thumb up the ass.
Crash and burn, and they're holding a chopstick with wasabi on it.
That'll be the last words I say.
That would burn.
You're gonna crash on this, and it's gonna burn.
Commissioner Jameson, accompanied by what would appear to be Skeletor's mom, interrupts.
Was she in the credits?
Yeah, she's in the credits. She interrupts Commissioner Jameson, Skeletor's mom, interrupts boy time and politely introduces the little half-golem female as Professor Laplace. Tex recognizes Laplace as the Coalition's chief scientist of their genetic engineering program. Laplace insists that her children are as human as any other garden variety Homo sapien, just better. She expresses her expectations of full cooperation from Tex and Achilles because the competition is researching super soldiers, and God damn it, America needs to win the gold in that event too. She hands the both of them 2 tiny specimen containers and politely requests them to jerk off into the gene pool for science.
For science!
I liked this line in the movie.
But given the rate of Tex's stereotypical de-evolution, I have a feeling the only stuff coming out the tip of his saddle horn is tobacco spit. Achilles responds with humor just as...
which may be more viable than what they've been using for these tubies beforehand.
Achilles responds with humor just as Tex's towel... and he says, "Can I just skip the middleman and make a direct deposit?" Just as Tex's sweaty towel is thrown back at him by the cadet with the tiny mams. Achilles looks back and she mean mugs him for about 5 seconds before we cut to the next scene. Next scene is, it's the big day of Achilles' big fight against Alexander. Thousands of moose and many more alcohol-abusing Alaskan citizens' livelihoods are on the line, and the first thing we see is Dr. Matsumoto putting the finishing touches on his folded paper crane because he's Asian and clearly this is some form of meditation.
Now,
why
this
should
guy-
Tex be the only one to hog all the stereotypical spotlight?
Matsumoto's like Polynesian, right? But they keep calling him Japanese.
Yeah, he looks like he's Filipino or something.
Masamoto seems like a Japanese name, doesn't it?
Right,
not?
but he doesn't have a Japanese face, is all I'm saying.
I can't comment at this point in time. or the
Because
podcast
I've
will
also
have to be
apparently
edited.
I've also become Craig. I've become a mishmash of Craig and Paul.
Wow.
Also, have we?
Crawl.
The bleachers, the stands where all the people are watching the fight. Why the fuck is there a big tarp over all of them? You can't see anything.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
that would be a little.
No, it was like some kind of protective glass, like.
But it was brown.
Yeah, it was brown, and like it filtered out like the laser that got deflected.
Okay,
We'll
I'm
definitely
sure.
touch on that.
I'm sure it wasn't so that it wasn't obviously a miniature, and there were a bunch of unanimated, hundreds of unanimated bystanders.
Well, our first thought when watching this movie is, what kind of idiot would put a crowd stand in the middle of a giant mech fighting arena?
Yeah,
and that will pay off, of course, shortly. But
it's not even. The arena is so small that their shoulders are practically bleacher to bleacher on each side.
Well, it's not like these robots are built for maneuverability or anything like that. I'm pretty sure there was not a single evasion move that was taken in the whole fucking film.
There is a chainsaw dick.
There's a chainsaw dick, but
Yeah.
don't spoil this for the people.
Okay,
Don't spoil
sorry.
it for
Sorry.
them.
Sorry.
That's not an evasion move. I mean, it hits. I mean, he dicks it up pretty good.
He dicks it up pretty good.
Well, it just so happens to be take your genetically engineered parentless bastard to work day because Texas is giving the fledgling Jox a tour of the Coalition's battle bridge. He explains that the battle is assessed on the monitors. Matsumoto runs the technical stuff because he's good at math, and that he himself gives tactical guidance. Sargon makes a bitch statement about how he thought the Robot Jox, the Robot Jox ran the whole show from the cockpit. Tex corrects the little asshole by insisting that a one-on-one robot fight is totally a team effort, and that flying solo would only get Achilles killed. The lady candidate states that she has states that she has a follow-up question addressing Tex formally as Commander Conway. He tips his hat ever so slightly and says, "Name's Tex," and she introduces herself as Athena. Athena. Ooh, I see what's or say. Oh, so she introduces herself as Athena. Oh, I see what they're doing here. Athena asks about a prior battle in which Tex secured victory by a well-placed precision laser shot, which is even impressive seeing as how he probably shot from the hip. Tex dismisses the phenomenon as a lucky shot, and Matsumoto interjects with some Mr. Miyagi bullshit about how experience is essential, but luck is a thing too, you know. Tex then shifts the class's attention to Achilles, who is all suited up in the ready room. Just outside, the spectators watch as a projector broadcasts Alexander's evil, smiling face in an interview recorded earlier that day. Alexander says, "Achilles, I have already killed you. In here," pointing to his temple.
I think it was his eyebrow, actually. I don't think he quite made it to the temple.
Oh, very foreboding, seeing as Achilles had a wound on his eyebrow, too. Pointing to his temple, and it's a very odd response, in my opinion, seeing as the question might have been something like, "So what was it like growing up?" The anchor running the show turns to his co-host and asks if Achilles has a chance of winning. Two guys who clearly work the minimum wage night shifts at the Ugly Hat Factory respond with an all-American, "Shit, yeah, he will."
Okay, so this is Jeffrey Combs. He's the guy on the left who's like slightly less dumb, right?
He's the one with the hat with like the goofy ears coming down the side. Is that who he is?
Yuck. And he's really pissed off. The other guy's like, yeah. He's the guy who makes the other guy's the one who makes the bet. And then Jeffrey Combs is the one who like wants.
Give me that.
Yeah.
How about that's mine, bitch?
Greatest actor of our generation or any other. Just want to let you know.
Well, that's just like, what's his face?
How many awards has he won?
0. 0 awards.
So clearly, greatest actor is a relative term.
Truly one of our greatest over actors.
Is he right up there with Nicolas Cage?
Nicolas Cage, Lance Henriksen. Yes.
So two guys who clearly work minimum wage night shifts at the Ugly Hat Factory respond with an all-American, "Shit, yeah, he will." But his buddy then expresses doubt, and the two of them have a Fred and Barney, Ren and Stimpy muttered conversation about it. The co-host...
Fred and Barney.
The co-host, a black man with a voice modulator, states that the coalition has a secret weapon. And I suspect the reason for the damaged throat on the co-host is most likely the result of a previous interview with Tex Conway, in which Tex's answer to his final question was to exercise his stand your ground rights. The taller of the two
Topical.
Like 3 years ago.
I wasn't being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I feel bad.
The taller of the two chromosome-deficient friends gets a little excited and lurks his way over to a repurposed condom machine that dispenses market shares that can be used to bet on the fight. Achilles' odds are 1 to 4, but apparently Alexander's are 0 to fucking 0.
Yeah, I didn't get that. You guys saw this, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's how math works in post-apocalyptic Robot Jox.
I saw it.
You saw the video?
I was fascinated.
No, I haven't seen the video.
Oh, okay.
Cut to the robot gantry. Achilles bursts through the door with a sense of urgency.
Wait. The robot pantry?
Robot gantry.
Gantry?
Elmer Gantry?
Yes.
What's a gantry?
Gantry.
It's like a pantry, but it's in my pants.
That's just a pantry.
You
Paul.
really
What the fuck?
Paul really puts the pants in pantry.
No, that's like a pantry, but in Gabe's pants. That's a gantry.
I don't want.
That's where we keep the goods.
I don't want to get the peanut butter out of there.
That's where we keep the wasabi
and all the peanut butter. It's all there. All of it.
I'll give you a nutter butter later if you want it.
How about a whatchamacallit?
Listen, the sexual reassignment surgery didn't go well. It's supposed to be you have to refer to whatever's left down there as a whatchamacallit.
Okay. Whatever, your peanut butter cubby or whatever.
My peanut butter gantry.
Achilles bursts through the door with a sense of urgency that could only indicate that he's totally ready to get this fight over with, or that he forgot to take a shit before putting on his spacesuit.
That means that Joel has a jantry, Paul has a pantry, and Craig has a crantry.
He wants a cranberry juice.
Stop with the Gabe jokes.
Oh, God. Okay.
Wow. Space pantry.
Pantry.
Still stupid. No matter
It
how
is
many times
stupid.
you said it.
That was stupid. Craig just stood up and he's thinking about leaving.
He's getting his keys out. Oh no, he's just fingering himself.
It's worth mentioning that an employee in this scene, decked out in personal protective equipment, complete with gas mask and goggles, upon seeing Achilles walking his way, decides to drop the heavy-duty hose leaking dangerous chemicals and slap his rubber glove-clad hands together like an idiot. Achilles struts past the crowd, handing out well-deserved thumbs-up fist pumps, and gives a couple of nods to the stormtroopers from Spaceballs, who clearly must be members of the Robot Jox Glee Club, because war is a punishable offense, remember? Achilles gets a final pep talk and all that rot from a British stormtrooper before entering the elevator that will take him to the cockpit.
Crash and burn, motherfucker.
Achilles arrives after the most dramatic elevator ride in history and climbs the final flight of stairs with a stare on his face that definitely validates the having to shit real bad theory. The Geek Squad vacates the area and Achilles straps himself in. Tex appears on the cockpit monitor and gives him some last-minute tips to help him stay focused. The feed is then interrupted by Achilles' brother, accompanied by his 12-strong brood of rugrats, who wishes him luck, and Achilles struggles to contain his shame for them. Now that the bullshit dramatic buildup is out of the way, the audience can finally enjoy what they didn't pay to see. Achilles' robot is elevated out of the gantry, and we get a glimpse of the arena. Apparently, Alaska has been reduced to a desert, and there is only one straight patch about a couple of 1,000 feet long for the robots to face off in. Apparently, the rules of the robot arena are to keep it as Street Fighter as possible.
I'm just going to put this out there as a thought, and it's a realistic thought at this point in time. They don't have to be fighting in Alaska to fight for Alaska.
Are they in Alaska fighting?
It turns out they're in Death Valley, I think.
Oh, yeah, they say Death Valley. So.
They say it later, but we never knew the settings. I'm just like, well, maybe Alaska got nuked and Mexico got cold, right?
I don't know what... Yeah, they say Death Valley, so they're fighting in the United States.
My Taco Bell got cold.
Is that...
You should have kept it in your gantry.
Is that code for something?
It stays warm and moist in the gantry, and it adds peanut butter.
A little warm, a little humid. A little peanut butter.
I keep my cigars in there.
Yes.
Yes. Finger quotes around cigar.
He means chopsticks with wasabi on the end.
The cigar he offers you to smoke is a scary, scary thing, children. Stay away from Paul.
So there's only a straight patch a couple of 1,000 feet long for the robots to face off in. Apparently the rules of robot arenas are to keep it as Street Fighter as possible, as the sides of the arena are littered with spectator stands crammed with thousands of soft, fleshy, murderable people, which in no way is a very bad idea. Wink, wink. Achilles decouples from the gantry. I said it again, guys. Achilles decouples from the gantry and tests his robot's locomotive systems. The robot's appendages are linked with his suits, which pantomimes Achilles' every move.
Very Pacific Rim-ish.
Very Pacific Rim-ish.
But they had two people in Pacific Rim. That makes it different.
It is so different.
But didn't they have the... Did they refer to it as coupling, though, in Pacific Rim as well? Like when they would...
I can't remember what they called the link, or I can't fucking remember. Jacking in on each other? I don't know.
Jacking off. That's when you get your hand and your dick up somebody's butthole.
I'm jacking into you.
We can stack them 3 deep.
It's the Matrix now.
Yes.
We see a couple of legs...
Sexy gay Matrix.
We see a couple of leg lifts and stomps and some stop motion animation of the robot clasping its own punch. With the functions check complete, Achilles departs and begins to hand out some free American flavored ass kicking of epic proportions.
American flavored ass kicking.
We cut
Tastes like America.
And
Kick
again,
some ass.
You know, I just want to pause the podcast right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, hold on.
No. Keep recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Evidence.
This is for the public to hear.
Joel's so literal. Oh, okay.
Earlier today, I have received what might be some really bad news. And I was on the phone trying to get some details about it from a stranger that had responded to...
Missing cat.
Craigslist ad.
Yeah, anyways, long
yeah.
story short, Gabe has been making fun of my conversation with this person. And that I asked them to befriend me.
On Facebook.
Yes.
No. Let's set this up a little bit differently. He didn't ask them to befriend them on Facebook by typing it in. No, he was on the phone and he said, "Will you befriend me?" Or something to that effect. Gabe, you know better. What was the exact wording?
So Paul earlier in the conversation had told us that this girl is pretty hot. And so we'd made some jokes about that. And
Oh,
then
great.
Paul,
Throw me under the train.
Paul got her on the phone, and they're talking about this issue that you're having. And then Paul's on the phone, and he's like, "Oh, then will you befriend me?" And then we all had a very big laugh about that because it's hilarious.
And then
because
Gabe...
it sounds like you're having a conversation on your iPhone from 1893.
To whom am I speaking from?
Yeah, so Gabe has posted a picture on his Facebook where
it will also be going up on the Facebook page for Schlock Talk fans to see as well. In fact, I think
he looks like he's just been chopstick wasabi'd in the picture.
Yes, including my hair. That's my hair sticking straight up.
And it just says, "Will you befriend me?"
Yes.
You know,
to which I just responded, "No, I will not."
It shows you the quality of Paul's friends, how big of an asshole groupage we are.
That we're all having a grand old time about his dead cat.
The size of your anus really has nothing to do with it, Craig.
Well, the thing that's true.
I said we're big.
I'm the gaming asshole. The sad part of this is Paul had started this whole conversation with this lady so excited, so full of enthusiasm.
Because I thought it was good news.
He was going to have something great happen. He was going to find... Do you mind if I explain the situation?
I guess not.
Okay. So Paul's family has lost a cat. It's a very sad thing. So Paul has been out hunting pussy all day.
Like any other day.
And so this lady goes, "Hey, look, I think I found your cat." Or, I have a friend who has a Facebook post that may have your cat on there. And she's like, it's a bad film. And then Paul's like, well, okay, I guess the image is a little grainy. So he's like, I'm going to score major points with my wife because I found this cat that's been missing. She loves this cat. This is a very impressive cat with a very vertical face. I'm not sure how else to put it.
His name is Captain Flatface.
Captain Flatface is the name. And then Paul, all super excited, finds out that the video was bad, not because the picture quality was bad, but because his cat may be stuck in a tree and dying. And I've now made you all sad. Except for me, I just find it amusing.
Jeez.
Perhaps we made the more sadistic listeners quite exhilarated.
And Craig. Mm-hmm. Man, he's got a raging boner right now.
Nothing makes me more excited than trapped pussy.
I think, Craig, too, that your statement about hunting pussy all day is correct. As long as you substitute the word butthole for pussy and at the playground for all day. Anyway,
my dear friends, thank you for your support in this difficult
it's a good
time.
thing Gabe has left child services.
Back to Schlock.
You can just edit that whole portion out. I don't think so.
We cut to a quick glimpse of Achilles' boots striking the sensor plate underneath him and dragging it backwards across its surface as his body remains relatively motionless. But much to our disappointment, his robot does not imitate his moonwalk, but rather struts forward like an asshole who just invented his own alternative style of walking.
Yeah, he makes this robot walk by stepping on an iPad.
That seems fair. That seems fair. Anyway, there were no iPads back then. I'm just saying that, though.
Back then?
Back then.
In the future.
Back then.
When does this take place? Does it say?
It's supposed to be like 50 years in the future, and like
And it was
the Cold
from
War.
89 or 90. So
It was made from 89, and Cold War was
not
still
quite
going
there
on.
yet.
2039, so about 22 years from now.
Wow.
Okay.
22 years from now, wow, the technology sucks in the future.
Yes.
They have giant robots, but you drive your car through a Frogger device.
Flash to the cockpit, and Achilles has Alexander's robots in his reticles, a la MechWarrior style. From the looks of it, Alexander's robot seems to have the same deep-seated hatred for normal walking habits as his opponent, and has most definitely been skipping out on leg day. Alexander waves hi to Achilles with a couple of rocket blasts to the robo-nipples. Tex
Oh, you tweaked my robo-nipples.
I like that. Rocket blasts. The robo nipples.
Tex
Sounds like a night at Gabe's house.
Yeah, they stole that right out of the pages of the Kama Sutra.
Yes.
I think Craig had brought up that these cockpits are just, the canopies for the cockpits are just exposed right there, where
Yeah.
you can blast them. They're not protected by very thick armor plating, and all the visual sensors and audio sensors come from other armored devices.
They're just looking out
You're
the
just
window.
looking
Yeah,
out
you're looking
your
out a
fucking
window.
condominium balcony on your robot.
Which
gonna call
sticks
that-
out from the front,
Yes.
so it makes a big juicy target for people to beat on.
All else it needs to be doing is glowing red.
Fucking like bullseye or rings around it.
Glowing red bullseye rings around it. You just described Gabe's butthole.
Just described a night at Gabe's house.
I'm just gonna say that about everything now. It's our new space joke.
Yes.
Tex asks ever so
Tex ass?
No. Tex asks ever so politely with those priceless Texas manners of his for Achilles to get his head out of his ass and fire back. Achilles launches a volley of his own missiles at Alexander, whose only countermeasure is to hold his robo arms in front of the cockpit as if to say, "Not in the face!" Alexander is startled after Achilles shoots his load all over him and counterattacks with a laser beam. Achilles
The green laser beam.
The
It's
green
important
laser
that it's
beam.
green. I don't know
Well,
why.
no, this one, this was Alexander's laser beam.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it wasn't green, but Achilles uses the oldest Disney trick in the book and deflects the beam with a billboard-sized mirror that the engineers who designed the robot thought was a good idea.
It was a good idea.
He deflected the
laser
beam.
Yeah.
Sounds like a night at Gabe's house.
No, it doesn't. There was no mention of butthole.
Naturally, the beam is deflected right into the spectator-crowded stands, but fails to penetrate the filtered glass roofing. The fans cheer because people this stupid can't count without looking at their fingers and toes, let alone comprehend the overwhelming amount of imminent death risks available to them at general admission prices.
Are we even halfway through the film yet?
No, we're about 1/10 of the way
And Joel's
through.
statement is technically true as long as you substitute the word brown tarp for filtered glass.
You have a better eye than I because I didn't see it probably
No,
goes to brown.
It's later on. It's broken into shards.
Yeah, but the I guess he's saying that the special effect
It
or
looks like
the
brown.
production was to put a brown tarp on there.
Yes,
It looks
it's
more
true.
real somehow.
Tex chimes in and tells Achilles to fire the experimental yet secret green laser. Achilles unleashes the fury of a billion Christmas tree-colored photons upon Alexander, only to see that his opponent must have paid real money for the 100% laser-resistant plating DLC. A war room lackey reminds the crew...
I did that in Skyrim. It was a total rip.
Yeah, that shit's on the disc. You fucking know it.
First day DLC.
Yes. Sorry, Joel.
A war
Your
room...
tits are glowing.
Oh, yeah.
Tits are glowing.
What else is new?
She just decided to send you more videos of cats dying.
God damn it.
Is this it?
No. No, it's not. Sorry, guys. Sorry to disappoint.
Oh, shit. I
So
laughed
she
so
never-
hard I
she-
almost passed out.
Did she not befriend you, Paul?
I thought having the dead cat video sent to me would be an in.
I'm going to have to put some dead cat pictures up on the Facebook page, Paul. I'm sorry.
Guys, you know, it used to be like bringing a puppy to the park
Yeah.
was the way to do it. No.
Dead cats.
Dead cats and babies, man. Not dead babies. Well, it depends on who you're trying to attract.
Sounds like a night of games. Sorry,
true.
Okay.
A war room lackey reminds the crew at HQ that the laser was a secret, and Tex reminds them all that there's just too many spies in the Robot Jox business. The officials close in on the robots and shut down their long-range weaponry so that Achilles and Alexander can hug it out together. The spectators cheer on with enthusiastic Sieg Heils as they wait in anticipation for the Ryu versus Ken showdown that they all paid $15 to see. We also get to see an adorable little boy clasping his teddy bear atop his dad's shoulders, which only makes the impending dismembering massacre of the crowd even more of a turn-on. Did I say that out loud?
I want to say, too, that this is
Like
actually...
a night of Gabe's house.
This was actually a space teddy bear.
Yeah.
I just want to let you... I mean, not to even make the joke. It was like a futuristic-looking teddy bear, Craig.
A future bear.
Sorry, Craig. Sorry, sir.
It's okay, whatever.
Alexander flexes his chest and attacks Achilles with a sidekick from his robot's left chicken leg. No blocks are made and no Hadoukens are thrown. Achilles just gets knocked the fuck out. Ugly Hat 1 and 2 are watching via the projector and start yelling at the TV like over-enthusiastic football fans during the Super Bowl. It is worth mentioning that on both sides of the projector screen are more Spaceball stormtroopers brandishing fully automatic submachine guns, and just in case shit gets real and they need to open fire on unarmed civilians. Alexander closes in to deliver his signature curb stomp on Achilles, just as the unconscious pilot comes to after a few minutes sporting a head wound that seems to have manifested underneath his helmet. He deploys a fusion torch attached to his robot's left arm and cuts a rather nasty gash into one of Alexander's robot's underdeveloped legs. Alexander can no longer stabilize his robot and starts to stagger backwards and ultimately lands right on his robot ass. Down but not defeated, Alexander has one last trick up his sleeve. A fucking detachable robo-rocket fist, to be exact. The
Caligula's fist.
The fist launches and the announcer loses his shit saying, "It's headed for the spectators!" Achilles suddenly gets a Jesus Christ complex, stands his robot up, and throws himself in front of it. Unfortunately, Achilles' karate and sexual harassment training didn't help prepare him for this scenario, and he falls right back down like some kind of drunk bastard, crushing all of the attendees in the A section. Alexander clambers out of the cockpit and assesses the damage. He removes his helmet and beholds the human blanket of mutilated flesh, screaming victims, and burnt corpses.
Sounds like a night at Gabe's house. Sorry, Joel.
Yeah, he removes his helmet and beholds the human blanket of mutilated flesh, screaming victims, and burnt corpses, and I leave the room to change my pants. Whoa,
Sounds
really
like a night at Gabe's house.
I gotta stop saying this stuff out loud. I really gotta stop saying that out loud.
I'm not sure how his save the audience plan was supposed to work, but I get the feeling it didn't work the way he intended.
So instead of like a relatively small flying fist that would have taken out maybe 20% of the crowd, he allows it to knock the robot into it, which kills all of the crowd.
Yes, it's a bad percentage play on his part, I think.
It was a poor choice.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
Well,
not much of a hero when you actually murder more people.
We'll focus on the deets of the pilot recruitment pool and what they value as what they think is a valuable skill for that.
Literacy, not one of them, as they mentioned later on.
Later, we're treated to a news feed that plays on the tragedy of the accident, while the audience struggles to understand why anyone would mourn the loss of stupid people in the future. The newscaster redirects the feed to a public hearing in progress where Commissioner Jameson is beseeching the officials to favor the coalition because Alexander's rocket fist violated the close combat phase rules of the match, and that Achilles is a fucking hero, and you might as well confess to hating Jews too if you don't acknowledge of how much of a pimp he is.
Yeah, such a hero. Where's the heroics there? Anybody? Anybody want to tell me how he was heroic? Paul? Did he save the cat? No.
Heroes don't murder people.
Too soon.
Too soon while it's happening.
That's like asking Paul Walker if you want... Hey, do you want to top off your gas tank? While he's in flames.
It would help him burn faster so he suffers less. It's a humanitarian act at that point, Paul.
Jameson joins with Achilles, who has just dressed his wound with a tiny Japanese flag. The officials consult one another, and the head ref announces that the death of the spectators is irrelevant, and so are Achilles' actions, proving that referees are just as much friendless assholes then as they are now. They declare the fight a draw and schedule a rematch at Death Valley a week from the hearing.
So these referees, I mean, this is how they. Okay, there was a rules violation that a ballistic weapon was used at close range, and so they say it doesn't matter that he tried to be heroic.
Oh, I just got your joke.
Yeah. I didn't know why it took you so long to get that. But so they say, okay, it's not okay that he was heroic. It doesn't matter that. What was the other thing? It didn't matter.
That he used that he doesn't matter that he lost the fight because he was trying to save the crowd.
Yeah, why doesn't it matter that he used a ballistic weapon
and so
in close combat? The one thing that legitimately is a rules-based offense is the one thing they fail to address.
Gabe always reads the rule.
I don't get that.
Craig always reads the rule books.
That's right, man. I got lost from at home.
Yep.
I like the rules.
Alexander can't contain his murderous enthusiasm any longer and jumps up excitedly in victory as he is granted another chance to get his sociopathic rocks off. Achilles is reluctant and instead announces his retirement due to the fulfillment of his contract. Alexander expresses his disappointment of Achilles as a man, just short of calling him faggot, and the conference room is vacated.
Whoa. Go ahead.
No.
We have all been woed.
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Carry on.
Go ahead.
Alexander's not a nice guy. Meanwhile, in the war room, Tex comments with the most Texiest of Texas drawls. What the hell? Yet resists the urge to throw in a what in tarnation and a great horny toads as well.
Suffering succotash.
Matsumoto watches silently as he loads up his original copy of MechWarrior on his Commodore 64 via his radio flight controller. The Genome Orphans, or Tubies as they are derogatively referred to by the jocks, are tuning in as well, and Dr. Laplace, Mrs. Gollum, announces that one of her sperm brats will get to be announces that one of her sperm brats is going to be the one to fight Alexander next. Sargon, with his
Does
opposite...
she have sperm?
This chick does.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sargon, with his opposite sex...
A little mannish. Just gonna say, a little mannish.
Sargon, with his opposite sex repelling eyebrows and braided rat tail, teases Athena about how her crush, Achilles, turned out to be a real coward. Athena tries to stand up for her pretend boyfriend, but is ridiculed by the rest of her rat tail wielding colleagues. Commissioner Jameson is none too happy about Achilles' decision to tuck tail and run, and reminds him that his contract obligates him to finish 10 fights. Achilles gives Jameson a middle finger to the rules and says he can show himself out. Jameson makes a remark that Achilles can't even read a contract, and Achilles retorts with, I can't read, but I'm not stupid. I don't mean to get down on the coalition, but I would argue that illiteracy and karate skills does not a good pilot make.
So he was supposed to finish 10 times?
He was supposed to finish a fight, so draws don't count.
Sounds like a night at Gabe's house.
Trying to finish even once is hard at Gabe's house.
Oh, not for Gabe.
He keeps a stock gantry.
Yes. So what's with the world building in this fucking movie? I mean, seriously, you see a poster that says prenatal like 15 times that has
they never really address
chick
that.
holding a baby out. This guy can't even read. They did mention with the kids that the brother who has the 12 kids or whatever and the safety goggles.
Yeah, and she's pregnant again, and she's like, "We're doing our part."
Yeah, we get an extra bedroom if we have 6 of them. Though I think there were 12 kids running around. Yeah. I think math might also be a little in the deficiency department in this particular group of people. But it's just this big fucking world building that's around here that never really gets any kind of solid explanation.
Maybe it's like the board game Risk. The more people you have, the more territories you get.
No, it's the better robots you have, and the more you ass kick those other robots, the more territory you get.
Then what would it matter? Why are they pushing the pregnancy thing?
Because they're trying to repopulate after the nuclear war
disaster,
whatever. And there's probably a lot of genetic mutation. Why? And they probably got to throw the reject babies in the trash.
Why fight for these huge swaths of territory when you have no people to populate it with? I mean, I'm taking this way too seriously, but Why do you need huge chunks of continents for the 117 people you have as your population to populate?
You have one inhabitable city. What the fuck? Who's gonna fucking mine the or drill the
Brooklyn
oil?
should be enough for the United States to
Also,
populate.
if you have all of that land you can go live in, why is everybody at fucking Death Valley?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a very nice place to live.
I would find a nicer place to live. Call it Life Valley. It's pretty morbid if you ask
Living
me.
Valley.
Yeah, maybe Life Meadow. Really switch it up.
Well, remember, we live in a crash and burn world, right?
Yes, crash and
So
burn.
Death Valley is good luck.
I'm going to move to Hawaii with the other 3 people who live there and just live on a coconut farm for the rest of my life and relax in the sun. It seems like a good way to go.
So,
how do you get there, though?
I swim really well for a fat guy.
Giant robot.
He floats very well, too.
Well, apparently these robots can go into space. I'm pretty sure they have some kind of... They have floaty cars. Maybe I could just drive there in one of those things.
Yeah.
Why don't you think this shit through, Paul, before you start asking questions?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Floaty cars, Paul.
Floaty cars.
Sorry,
Floaty
guys.
cars.
My mind is elsewhere today.
Like the
I'm
ones
a bit
in Robot
distracted.
Jox. I don't mean to get down on the coalition, but I would
Paul's been
argue...
missing that pussy something fierce.
Jeez.
I don't mean to get down on the coalition, but I would argue that illiteracy and karate skills does not a good pilot make. But it's the future, remember? War is outlawed.
I know.
Maybe Joxing is technically lumped with athletic sports, and that would probably be the pool from where they pull their coaches from. Now it makes perfect sense.
You gotta stop putting the pussy on a pedestal.
You know, the more I think about it, the
Yes.
more I'm convinced it probably is the cat.
Yeah.
Because that cat was such a flippin' dumbass, and I'm sure it's like a video of it like falling into branches and like hanging itself.
So something
Which would totally
Get you hard. I would.
sounds like you're not at Gabe's house.
We all live at Gabe's house.
Oh God!
Jameson tries a last desperate attempt to appeal to Achilles' greed, but is met with failure, and Achilles walks out on him, just like my parents did with me.
Sure.
He was raised by Gabe's house. God.
And that's when Gabe adopted me.
Oh, is that actually in your notes? I wish it was.
You're such a proud papa.
Yeah.
Cut to the on-campus nightclub where Tex is hanging up a picture of the dead intro pilot next to what would seem to be a photograph of Ron Burgundy. A random bimbo comforts him with the appropriate crash and burn salutation, and Tex promptly removes his hat, and the stench from it quickly induces nausea amongst all the patrons. The nightclub is lively with dance and shitty music. All of the staff are the staff are all wearing their regulation issue jumpsuits, which leads me to believe that they're not employees for the Robot Jox, but actually slaves. We pan
Weren't
across.
the women wearing like metal faux hawk?
She had some weird.
There was a lot of There was also a lady that's very prominently dancing in the middle of this frame for like 3 seconds, and she's kind of doing like the running monkey thing.
The running monkey. You have to see that visually to understand how.
Like a night at Gabe's house.
The monkey's trying to run from there all the time.
Yes.
We pan across the establishment and see even more stupid futury shit, like the plank that can hold 5 pitchers of beer for simultaneous chugging between dudes.
What the fuck was the point of that?
Yet only
I don't want to use hands. Hands is hard technology.
for the plank that can hold pitchers of beer for 5 simultaneously chugging dudes that can only accommodate 3. They're like shoulder to shoulder. Like there's no way you can get 5 guys in there. Well, unless you're the Schlock guys and you stack them 5 deep, penis asshole.
No, the extension of my belly prevents that. I'm sorry. I can't get the deep penetration.
We close in on Achilles.
I apologize, Paul.
We close in on
I
Achilles.
know it hurts you.
Never quite hit Paul's G spot.
The Gabe spot.
The Gabe spot. The gantry spot.
The G spot is the Gabe spot. We close in on Achilles, who is drinking at the bar like most losers.
Oh God!
Like most losers do.
I'm
But
picturing that I have like a little Gabe face up there.
That'd be the most horrible thing.
And it's that one.
And it's, will you befriend me?
Yes.
closing on Achilles, who is drinking at the bar alone like most losers do. The world's most passive and enabling bartender says he should probably cut Achilles off before handing him another drink. Achilles is suddenly ambushed by his restraining order pending Tubi fanboys, Sargon and Athena, and they begin to ask him all kinds of personal shit about his decision to protect the spectators. Achilles expresses that the only alternative would be to let them die and asks if Sargon and Athena would do that. They both unhesitatingly say yes, proving that even in the future, homeschooling still exists. Alexander bursts in and announces both his and Achilles' presence with an even more padded Eastern European accent and a higher tone of voice. Ah, my friend. He teases Achilles about the whole over 300 casualties thing, and Achilles makes a thinly veiled threat against his life. Sargon decides to pick a fight with Alexander because his only goal in life is to be a little punk bitch, and god damn it, he's going to master his craft and write a book about it.
You just posted your picture as a photo comment to your photo?
It's technically a different picture.
We don't know why. So, this point in the scene where the Tubi guy slaps the Alexander guy and they get into a fight, what I want to know is, why is desiccated Dr. Ruth the trainer of these supposedly super Spartan warriors of the future?
Hey, remember that sex doctor that always used to be on TVs?
Dr. Ruth.
No,
Yeah,
not
it's
her,
Dr.
but there was this other one, and she was ancient.
That was Dr. Ruth.
No, not Dr. Ruth. There was she the one that she'd wear the rubber dildo thing on her chin, and she demonstrated?
Oh, for Conan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that wasn't Dr. Ruth.
I don't know who that was. It wasn't Dr.
But you know who I mean.
Yeah.
Just some pervert.
Some lady who wears a dildo chin?
Yeah, she wore the dildo chin strap, and she was showing Conan how you could perform
oral sex while
ganglius.
Ganglius.
Sounds like a disease, doesn't it?
Was that so she can eat out another chick while she
she was
her?
she was a cunning,
I can't remember.
Cunning linguist.
It's so you could anal and oral at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, that too, yeah.
That would seem to be the logic.
And she was 80 years old.
Yeah.
And Paul was a raging hard on. He was like, yeah, old lady sex.
Actually, it's never ceased.
So what was I saying before Paul interjected with Dick Chin?
So you're talking about Dr. Laplace. Why is she in charge of training?
Yeah, why is she?
I wonder why this is going on so long.
So she's in charge of training these people who are supposedly raised from birth to do nothing but be mech warriors and combat junkies and everything like that. Yet some schlumpy-looking middle-aged German guy manages to kick this kid's ass, turning his hand around and crushing it. And the kid this pain expression.
I love how you hear the walnut shell sound.
Yeah, and it's really, these are the super soldiers you built for the future. These are your Tubi babies who are going to save the world, and they can't even fight asthmatic fat German men.
Alexander dismisses his challenge, but Sargon insists that he will be the next one piloting the Coalition robot in the rematch fight. Alexander tells him he'd better hope not, because he would make Sargon's death interesting, leading to the possibility of the movie capturing the first ever robot-on-robot homosexual rape scene, and also making it uncomfortable for me to wear these goddamn awful tight-fitting jeans.
Paul and Gabe have worn cardboard boxes and tried that themselves on video.
But this is where we got the idea.
Oh, this was first. I thought you just did it when you were younger.
Yeah, and Guillermo del Toro, he stole this for Pacific Rim job.
Pacific Rim job.
The fight breaks out, and spoiler alert, Sargon is forced to submit. Achilles breaks it up and challenges Alexander to fight him instead.
He doesn't break it up. He pussy hits the guy he pussy hits Alexander in the back.
I'm sorry. Can you not use the word pussy?
Too soon.
He
Alexander,
like he's a cat.
God.
Alexander declines and leaves the club. The night is over, and Achilles has a rather psychedelic nightmare about the accident, despite there not being a scene where he downs 5 ounces of mushrooms right before. Achilles wakes up in his bed and finds Athena creepily staring on the end, just staring at him. He asks what she's doing there, and she responds with, "I've been here all night." Take note, kids. Breaking into someone's house and watching them as they sleep is the ultimate romantic gesture. Just ask Gabe.
Oh, he already did it. It's okay. You don't have to
Sounds
say
like a
it.
night after Gabe's house. I don't know.
She fills in the gaps of Achilles' blackout memory and reveals that she carried him home. Oh, so that's why there's only one set of footprints in the sand.
It sounds like a night at Gabe's house. If you switch, he sneaks in and watches them sleep with. He sneaks in and watches them die.
You just made me realize something. Those motivational Christian posters about the one set of footprints in the sand where Christ carried me.
Yeah.
He's actually raping the dude, right?
Oh my God.
Jesus saves.
Peace be with you, child.
Alan's not here. Oh, that's what you became. You're now Alan.
He took your sins upon himself over and over and over again.
She also confesses that she undressed him and studied his body. Too bad there wasn't the scene where she was jealously screaming at his penis and cursing the heavens for not blessing her with one at birth. Achilles suddenly gets a craving for orange juice and starts heading to the kitchen, draped in nothing but a sheet, with his personal space with the personal space violating Athena in tow. He opens the fridge, but the only thing in stock is butter and more beer. Achilles settles.
That sounds like a good night right there.
Achilles settles for coffee instead and gathers the ingredients.
At Gabe's house.
That's why he keeps that in the gantry. Butter and beer.
Peanut butter and beer.
Athena, still all up in his face, keeps asking dumbass questions about the secrets to his greatness. He ultimately fesses up and says that he's really just lucky. He can't read, remember? Athena follows him to his closet, arguing about how there's no such thing as luck, and Achilles dons his jumpsuit without putting on his underpants first. I hate to be the guy who's got to clean those things, because if Achilles is going commando every day, then you'd better fucking believe Tex is too.
So it's peanut butter, beer, and that sedative that killed Michael Jackson.
Gabe's house. You're all invited.
That's what's kept in the gantry. Okay.
Achilles tells Athena
We need to add a guy named Elmer to the podcast.
So we can have an elementary? I don't
Elmer Gantry.
Okay.
I like elementary better.
You would.
School, that is.
Yes.
Achilles tells Athena that she needs to be more fearful, and she defies him by saying she was bred not to fear. Achilles makes a comment that she's not human, and she gets all defensive and shit and says that she is human, proving that even genetically engineered females are just too fucking complex for anyone to get.
Females.
She accuses him of being the coward that Sargon called him out as, and reiterates that it isn't over till someone wins. Achilles terminates the conversation and tells Athena to take her flappy ass right out the door.
Does he say flappy?
I said he didn't say flappy.
Oh, okay.
That's my liberty.
Yes. She is a black girl with the flattest ass I've ever seen in my life.
I didn't think it was that flat.
Hey, it's a
really.
matching set. Her boobs and her ass.
Yes.
I mean, her tits are non-existent. We can all agree to that.
No, they're inverted.
Yeah, they're her shoulder blades.
If you put a marble on her chest, it automatically goes into the gravity well.
Yes.
And that is where my
The
notes
black
end,
hole
unfortunately. And we're only a third of the way through the movie.
Jesus Christ. Okay, so we'll do part 2 the next time.
Hey, so does anybody have any do's and don'ts?
Do watch Robot Jox.
Yeah, I did like Nightcrawler. I thought it was an
I
interesting
haven't
movie.
seen that.
It was pretty good.
I saw friends see Birdman too. Did anyone like that?
Did you
I want
like
to see
it?
that one. I haven't
No,
seen it yet. But...
we want to see a movie. We got tickets burning a hole in our fridge, but we didn't know what to see
You keep your tickets in your fridge?
on the fridge.
in his jantry.
Right next to the peanut butter.
Peanut butter. Jacko said it is.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I was gonna save this for like a wild pitch segment that's never gonna happen. So I'm just gonna throw this out there. I was thumbing through movies the other day on Comcast, and there is a movie called Return of the Moonwalker. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Michael Jackson's zombie is like resurrected and used to fight evil.
Fuck yeah.
Was Michael Jackson actually part of this?
This is a wild pitch
Does
now?
he fight evil?
This is a real movie.
Oh, it's a real movie.
Oh, yeah. It's out.
That's fucking awesome.
Does he molest evil children?
I haven't seen it.
Only the good children.
I think he's got like a spirit chimp.
like a chimp familiar.
Bubbles, let's go save the children from the gantry.
They're stuck in the gantry.
There's all kinds of evil things going on at Gabe's house. He has to be put down. We must stop this evil.
He's taking up my share.
Oh my god.
That bitch is encroaching on my territory, too.
Well, on that sour note,
don't forget to like Schlock Talk on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Talking Schlock. And we don't have a working website right now, but we hopefully
cross your fingers that it's not my cat in this video I haven't seen yet.
Yes,
this
our
podcast.
website editor is too busy making cider labels to help us out.
All right.